Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrac and Kelly Kole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. Today we are so excited for this very special edition. We are talking today to TV personality, style expert, equestrian lover, and interior designer Carson Kressley. He has a new collection with Ballard Designs that is called The Thrill of the Hunt, that is inspired by his love of all things equestrian. So we are going to jump in and talk to him in just a second.
Okay, so an Emmy Award-winning TV personality and design expert. You may know him from the breakout star on Bravo's Queer Eye for the Straight Guy back in 2003. Or in his long-standing role as a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, among many other shows. He's been a competitor on Dancing with the Stars and a trusted fashion critique on every red carpet. He's an author, a lifelong equestrian, and overall one of the funniest people we have been around. We are super excited to have him share his collaboration with Ballard Designs, but more importantly, to help you get to know Carson a little bit better. So before we dig into the thrill of the hunt with Ballards, tell us where and when did your passion for equestrian style begin?
Oh, well, first I have to say thank you for that glowing and lengthy introduction. You forgot my Nobel Peace Prize for getting rid of pleated cat. That was so nice. And sometimes I sit there, I'm like, oh my God, no, stop talking. It's making me embarrassed. It's so many titles, but I like a lot of things. I'm a multi-hyphenate. And was the question, when did I get interested in design?
Your equestrian kind of life.
Oh, your equestrian life. Well, I'm sure it started very young.
It did. Yeah, that's a picture of me and one of my horses. That's Earl. He has the worst real registered name in the world. His name's like Stella's Golden Earl. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll work with that. But I grew up on a pony farm in Pennsylvania, and my grandparents, my grandmother, always wanted a pony for herself, and she wound up buying one for my dad, who was like, I'm not into it at all. But fortunately, she loved it and had a passion for horses and ponies, and I grew up with lots of them around. And it was just normal to me to always have a bunch of horses around, and we started competing and showing, and it just grew into a passion. I was on the World Cup team in 1999, and it's just something I've always done. I've always loved. Horses are so therapeutic and calming and healing and loving and fun and exciting, and they're very fulfilling for me.
Oh, I love that. So I can't even tell you, for a portion of my life, I lived in Fayetteville, New York, and then we moved to Princeton, New Jersey, and my uncle had a farm. And so my mom was working at the farm and training and showing Tennessee walkers. And I think I asked Santa for a pony for the majority of my childhood. And it never materialized. So I'm living vicariously through you. I know.
Oh my God.
I know. I would come down in the morning and swear there was going to be a pony out in the snow waiting for me. And it never happened.
Right. Well, you can still make it happen. I have a couple ponies I could part with. So you let me know a shipping address and we can make that happen.
I would love. So tell me, I'm sure you have two homes, right? One in Pennsylvania, your farm, and then one, you have your apartment in New York City.
I do, yes.
But they're both very different. So for your home in Pennsylvania, how are you? I'm sure it's very equestrian inspired. How do you decorate in that kind of genre where it's not too overdone?
Right.
You know?
Well, If you came to the farmhouse in Pennsylvania, you would think you were stepping into an equestrian theme park, because that's what I call it.
So maybe
It
yours is a little overdone.
Don't do what I do, because it's much too much. The moment you walk in, there's equestrian wallpaper that actually I'd wanted since the 90s. It's an old pattern from Tebow. And I was at High Point at the interior design market and show. And I was like, guys, do you have this? And this is what a great company Tebow is. They make fabric and wallpaper. They said,
we love one of our faves.
Yeah, they're so great. And there was a woman there. Her name was Stacy. And she said, I think that's, you know, long gone. That was from like the 90s. They found some leftover dead stock and they sent it to me. So thank you, Tebow. So when you walk in, it's immediately. Yeah, we love her. When you walk in, it's immediately a foyer covered in equestrian wallpaper. Then I have an equestrian wall rack that I actually redeveloped for Ballard. That was a family heirloom. And lots of equestrian plates and a fox head and a black forest little fox holding two whips. And it's just very horsey. So I think what you do is you pepper in, you know, bits and pieces for most people. And you don't have to be like an equestrian to have a little bit of equestrian vibes. Just like you don't have to be a rider to, you know, wear some of those Hermes or Ralph Lauren kind of equestrian inspired pieces. So it's really about a vibe of like classic good taste and classic materials that gives you that equestrian vibe. But you don't need to be an equestrian to have that in your home. Although mine is very overdone. And when I bought this house, it was like 10 years ago. And I had been to a Club Monaco, and I get a lot of design ideas from being in retail spaces. And it was, you know, the store was gray with white trim and like a pickled oak floor. It was very simple, very like Hampton's Horse Farm. I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I just started putting in, you know, Regency pieces and lots of equestrian artwork. And I just can't help myself. I'm a more is more kind of person. So that simple pared down aesthetic did not work for me and did not come to fruition.
I just was going to say that I think that even if you're not equestrian, I think that all those little touches are very stately. They're very cozy. They're very warm. They're very sophisticated. And so I'm so happy that you brought this collection to Ballard's, because now everybody can have a little bit of it.
When we went to the event at Ballard's last week, you talked about how the collaboration started with Ballard Designs. And go ahead and just kind of tell the audience, because I think it's interesting. And if you always knew that it was going to be this equestrian themed collection.
Okay. Yeah, that is a fun story. I have always loved Ballard Designs. They are one of my favorite resources. And what I've always loved about them, before I was, you know, really doing interior spaces or being an interior designer, was that they allowed you to really be your own decorator. You could get custom pieces made. You could pick out your silhouette of your sofa or your chair. You could choose your own fabric. You could send your own fabric. So I always thought they filled this really important space for people that want a custom look, want a decorator look, but maybe don't have the budget or the access to hiring an interior designer. So I was a Ballard super fan. I also love their traditional vibe. And I had worked with them on some social media campaigns. We redid my pool area at the farm. We did an entertaining story on Instagram and on their website. And I got my foot in the door, and I followed up with that saying, I really want to do a collab with you guys. And they said yes, but before we do, we should probably come see your house. And the CEO, a fabulous woman named Karen Mooney, said, I'm going to come with our VP of product, and we'll visit your house and see how you live and see what your aesthetic is, because it had been published. But as you know, photos in magazines, it was in House Beautiful. You
Oh,
see
yes.
very little
Hmm.
of the actual house. Like you just
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
vignettes or certain rooms. It could have all been a sham. And I think Karen was just like, let's make sure this guy's legit. Uh, so they came to my house, to the farm in Pennsylvania. So anybody who lives on a farm knows that you don't want to invite people over um, in February. And I brought them into my house and I said, just don't look out the windows because, it's just a bunch of muddy horses standing in paddocks. And she and her associate walked through my house and pointed out different things and loved the way I'd styled it and that it was very layered and it was very traditional. So I think that sealed the deal. And then that was 2 years ago, I think in February. And I made them lunch and I was a very good host. And I had a lot of Ballard product as well already in my house. So I think that helped as well. And seeing the product in different ways and how people use it, I think is also very inspiring. So I got the green light. I went to Atlanta. I think they thought I was an amateur. And then when I arrived in Atlanta with like storyboards, I was the Elle Woods of interior design. I brought all my supplies. I had a cute outfit. I brought an assistant that I don't really have, that I just got a friend to, help me because he was good with the iPad. And we razzle dazzled them with a collection I had entitled Modern Equestrian because, design what you know. And I had collected so many pieces and I had so many tear sheets. I had a book this thick of tear sheets that I've been saving since I was like 25 years old. So I had all the ammo and it was literally one of those situations where you like have been preparing all your life for it.
What I love about it is sometimes there'll be personalities that have collections, but they don't even really know what they are. You sound like you totally earned every bit of it and you had something to say about every single piece.
Yeah, I think I think it boils down to authenticity and whether it's, giving advice on fashion or helping someone design a home, you really have to, know what you're talking about experience. And I had decorated my house in this exact way. So I really knew what I wanted to bring to Ballard. I knew what the vibe would be. I knew what the pieces would be. So I was just I had lived it and I was going to, bring my experience to Ballard.
So I would imagine that doing these kind of collaborations is a little bit tricky because you're selling to the masses, right? So you have to be on brand for Ballard, but you also, I would imagine maybe there are some items that you really wanted to bring to the collection that maybe were not price, didn't work out, or were there any pieces that you really wanted to bring to the collection that didn't quite happen? Or did you get your way all the way?
Well, that's a great question. And fortunately, having worked for Ralph Lauren and having designed apparel collections for QVC and other vendors, I know that not everything that you want to bring to the collection is going to work. You have to kind of over
Yeah.
design the number of pieces in the collection because some things will fall out because the merchant, in this case, Ballard Design, knew that they didn't have success with a particular item. We don't sell,
Mm-hmm.
uh, tortoiseshell, side tables don't work for us. You have to take that information to heart because you want it to be successful. Or they might say
Yeah.
this particular color doesn't do well for us. We don't do well with boucle or modern. So if I brought something to the table that wasn't something that works traditionally for Ballard, their expertise and experience could corral me, pun intended, to just veer away from that and stick to the things that we know or hopefully know are going to work. So that's
Yeah.
part of the design process. You bring a lot of great designs, and then the merchandising team that actually knows what sells will kind of guide you into how many of those items, what colors of the items. So I started with more, and then we honed it down to what we think was going to sell. And I'm used to that process from apparel.
Yeah.
I have to say, I
Well,
think the pieces are really, really beautiful. I mean, we got to see them in person when we went to the
Yeah.
event, and I really loved them. I really did. You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was thrilled. You work on them for like years. You bring your tear sheets or your sketches or your inspiration photos, and you say, let's do this and this and this. And then the Ballard team, and they work so hard in finding vendors that can make those pieces, and they have to make sure it's affordable, and it has to be able to withstand shipping, and it has to fit in a certain size box, and they literally drop some of the items like 50 or 100 times to make sure the packaging is going to keep it safe and it comes to you beautifully and not broken, which is a total buzzkill. And we've all had pieces arrive where you're like, oh God, I waited for like 3 weeks or 6 weeks. Now it's broken. You don't want that. So they are very good at sourcing and manufacturing and packaging. And when the pieces arrived like 2 years later and you see them in Atlanta at the offices, it was so exciting. It was like, it was like a new baby. I keep pictures of this light fixture in my wallet because I love it so much. And
I love it too.
Is
that your favorite?
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. That's the Blake light fixture. It's a giant lantern, and it's really, really overscale. So it's so good in these. One of my pet peeves are tiny light fixtures or tiny lamps.
I agree.
And nothing really is the scale that we need for some of these bigger spaces that we live in. Everybody wants open concept. Everybody wants, high ceilings. And then you put a pendant fixture and it's like teeny. You want a big, you want a statement piece. So the scale of this Blake lantern, I really love. I was very happy with it. And it could go in a big foyer, but it could also go in a powder room, because I think a big scale light in a small space can also be really dramatic and fun and give you so much impact. Tip of the day, don't be skimpy with the scale of your light fixtures.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So you kind of call yourself an amateur designer, but I don't know. You give very thoughtful advice. So question here, what do you recommend where you would splurge or save?
Oh, gosh. This is the same as the wardrobe, I think. And I think you should splurge on the anchor pieces. And in our wardrobe, for guys, it's, one great suit. Or for the ladies, it's like your version of the perfect little black dress. Things that you're going to wear for years in different occasions. And the same thing applies to home. In your living room, you should splurge on your sofa. It's got to last, hopefully, a lifetime. So a great frame, a durable performance fabric that you can replace here and there over the years. That's the splurge in the living room. So I think splurging and saving is very similar to what you would do in the fashion space. You want to splurge on the things that are staples, the workhorses. So in your wardrobe, it's a suit or a little black dress or a great designer bag. Those things that are going to last and that you're not going to get rid of anytime soon. In your home, it should be those things that anchor the room. So in your living room, it's your sofa. In your dining room, it's your dining table. And in your bedroom, it's your bed. Those are the things that are the focal points that you use the most. And I say, buy the best quality you can afford at the time. And hopefully you're just buying that, that heirloom piece once in your lifetime. So I heard this great quote recently where somebody said, nothing is more expensive than being cheap. And I thought that was a great one. So invest in quality.
100%. So we talk a lot on the show about original art and the power of it and how much we love it. As you can see, I've got it all behind me. Do you have a favorite piece in your home?
Yeah, I think artwork. And again, to parlay that into fashion terms, artwork is like your accessories. It's like your Hermes scarf or your statement earrings or a great pair of glasses. It's the thing that's really going to give your space your personal stamp. So I'm a big fan of having really artwork that speaks to you throughout your home. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be rare. But if you love it, you're going to enjoy living with it and it's going to work.
Yeah.
My favorite piece in my house, in the city, I have a big, giant, like 3 foot by 6 foot. It's a silk screen. So it's just one color. It's like a marigold, yellowy orange.
Nice.
Screen print, like an Andy Warhol, where they just, made an engraving and then they did one pass with the ink or the paint. And it's by an artist named Joe Ando, and it's a white horse on this bright yellow background.
Oh.
And my whole apartment is like brown and aqua, and the yellow just pops. And it's contemporary in a very traditional space. I live in a pre-war building on Park Avenue. It can be very old lady and stuffy. And this bright yellow piece of quite contemporary art keeps it fresh. And that's another favorite design trick of mine is if you have a very traditional space, add one piece of contemporary art. And that 100%. Is really going to make it feel up to date and cool.
That is great advice. Yeah. So you have admitted that you have a black belt in shopping. I know you travel a lot. Is there certain things that you collect in your travels?
Yes, I collect receipts because I like to shop everywhere. And my mom likes to say that I like to shop anywhere where there's a cash register because I love the thrill of the hunt. I love finding things. So I was recently in Missouri looking for horses, and there was it was called the Ozark Barn. And I was like, we have to go into the Ozark Barn. They're going to have amazing things. And it was mostly things that weren't amazing, but I got this luxury cashmere laundry detergent that I loved, and I got some regional candy.
I love that.
And there's
stuff.
Always something at one of these roadside places, so I love that. I'm in Toronto right now, and they have a fabulous department store called Holt Renfrew, so I might go there. And they had a great Fortnum and Mason little Easter section. So I like to try to find the local hot spots and, buy something from, the local place. I do always find the antique mall. And there are things that I'm always on the lookout for. Hotel silver, brown and white transferware, anything horsey. Those are kind of the things that I'm always on the lookout for.
Joanne and I, no matter where we travel to, we are finding the antique store the second our feet hit the ground. Yeah. And so that Hotel Silver, we were just in, where were we, Joe? We were in Charleston.
Yeah.
And I bought this beautiful ice bucket as a gift. I can't tell you more because it's a gift. But I see it's that English brown wood, and I'm done for. Yeah.
Yeah. It's therapeutic walking through those antique stores. I love it.
It is. And they have great music. Have you ever noticed that antique stores have great music?
Yeah, there's usually
I could just walk the aisles forever.
It's easy brunchy brunch music, and it's jazzy, and it just makes you want to buy things. You're like, I feel so elegant and relaxed. Let's shop. And but I do think, combing the antique malls and the flea markets are great because you will get some of those one-of-a-kind things that are great for gifts. Or your silver ice bucket would be great to put an orchid in and give it to somebody for Mother's Day or whatever. It's a nice way to find unique gifts. It is very therapeutic, the whole process.
Yes. You know what I recently saw? It might have been in the recent 7-Living. I can't remember, but it was an antique silver pitcher, for pouring water at a dinner table. But it was by the in a kitchen by the stove with all the spoons and spatulas in it.
Utensils.
So good.
Yeah, I love
So
using
good.
antiques like in a different way than what it's like supposed to be. Like I bought this cute little, actually you would
Intended
like it
for.
because I think it is a horse scene. It's a little plate and I just use it next to my Keurig and I put my spoon there because it like makes me happy when I
There you
look
go.
at it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. You create little moments of joy that are very
Yeah.
personal to you, and having those around your house are great.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this, because we have several interior designer friends who started their careers out of college, actually at like Neiman Marcus or Saks. And you talk a lot about
Thank
everything you
you.
learned in your 10 plus years at Ralph Lauren. And I'm wondering, is it just that having that fashion background gives you a practiced eye for how color and texture go together? Or like when you were at Ralph Lauren, were there specific lessons that you learned that have really um, bridged over to interior design and really helped you become a better designer?
Yeah, I mean, I do think I'm one of those proponents that good design is good design, and it translates from
Yeah.
fashion to the home space um to garden design. It's about balance, it's about color, it's about texture, and it's about scale. And I think the color and the texture and the materials part, I
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot at Ralph Lauren about that, because we weren't just selling clothes, we were selling the lifestyle. So
Mm-hmm.
all of those details were really important. And that's what I took away as my greatest lesson at Ralph Lauren, is that every detail matters. You know, the way you have your collar, the color that you've chose, the way that you are accessorizing it, all those little details add up to a big impact. Um, and then I think the thing that you have to learn as an interior designer or a decorator, which I call myself because I'm not really trained in that space, is that you have to learn about scale. I think
Yeah.
that's the big lesson you need to learn when you come from fashion, because fashion is really, you know, the scale of your body, you know, the scale of the print and how it's going to look. But in a space, you really need to learn that. You might see this beautiful chair and think, oh, this is great for my bedroom. And then you get it there and you're like, it's teeny compared to your bed, or it's too low to the
Yeah.
floor.
Yep.
So scale is really important. How do things fill a space in a three-dimensional way? That's something you really need to learn. And you either learn by experience and making mistakes, or you learn because someone teaches you that. But scale, I think, is the real hidden gem and the real trick you need to master to transfer
I
from
think
fashion
that's,
to base.
yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
most people struggle with for sure. So let me ask you, do you have a
Mm-hmm.
design pet peeve?
Oh, I have several. How much time do you
Several.
have?
Yes. Oh, let's see if we match.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if we're simpatico. I do not like an accent wall,
Okay.
especially when it's just one wall of like wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I might give you a pass if it's like a wooden textured wall, which I still don't love.
Okay.
I like a space to feel really cohesive and like you're wrapped
Mm-hmm.
in, you know, the same beautiful cashmere sweater. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like tiny light fixtures. And I know there's one over my
Oh,
shoulder, but that's okay. It's a sconce. But
yeah.
if there was a lamp next to the bed and you have a big giant king size bed, you shouldn't have a teeny tiny little lamp. The lamp should be in scale to the rest of the fixtures in your room. It should be
Thank you.
functional. It should give you enough light to read. Um, so I don't like tiny lights. Speaking of lighting, every light sold in the United States comes with a little sticker on it that says, like, use this size light bulb and this is a fire hazard and
Yeah.
whatnot. And people will leave those on. I'm looking, there's one on this light in front of me.
Uh-huh.
And um, I don't know what the
Well, they don't come
legality is.
off
I don't know
very
if it's like ripping the
easily.
tag off.
They they're hard to get
No,
off.
no,
Yeah.
they're really cool.
Ah,
You got a
So
trick?
what I would do is yeah, you can put black electrical tape over them. If the, you know,
yes.
if the area that it's attached to is black, or you
Yeah.
can put like a white, you know, tape over it, like almost a
Yeah.
like a medical tape. And then it's on there if you ever need to reference, like, oh, what size bulb is the right size for this? 60 watt is the maximum. Oh, okay. I'm going to put the tape back on so we don't see that terrible sticker, but you still have the information. So I don't love those. I'm sure there's lots of other ones. I don't love an anonymous space, a very trendy space that is just of the moment and not of your life and your experiences and your travels and your loves. If it looks like it's a staged model home, that's not good.
No. And I think that's very common because we walk into new clients' homes often and we're looking around, we're going like, where's your history? Where do you travel? Do you collect anything? Where's grandma's stuff? Is there anything that anything that somebody gave you that you care about? Nothing is celebrated, Sometimes we go into people's homes and they don't even have pictures and frames of family or friends. It's the oddest thing to me. And so we really encourage, we have been in many an attic many a time and said, could we just go, rummage around and see what you have? Just trying to find anything for that.
I think sometimes people feel like, oh, that's old stuff or that's not very important and it might not match. But I think it's a lot more talked about these days is having a personal style. You'll walk into a home and let me know something about this person. So I like that we're seeing more of that. And I like to be able to tell people that the things that you have are personal are what you need to be showing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big proponent of that. I think whether it's your wardrobe or your home, it should be autobiographical. You should be able to walk into someone's home or their office or wherever and see pictures of their favorite pets or their kids or trophies from a sport that they're into or whatever. It should definitely tell your story because there's no other place in the world where you can do that other than your own home. So it should feel collected and personal and it should tell your story. As cliche as that sounds, that's what the best spaces do.
Yeah, I think when people that are not in our industry and hear the words layered, I don't think a lot of people know what that really means. So, we as interior designers have to, kind of teach people too and explain that the things that our collections are important and that your house doesn't have to look like a model home as long as these pieces speak to you. A lot of times you'll look in magazines, the artwork doesn't match anything at all. That's what makes it kind of interesting. Doesn't match.
I agree. And there are some shelter magazines are pretty anonymous and they don't look personal. I don't need to be inspired by that. I want to be inspired by other people's stories. So I want the ones that are very layered with personal artifacts.
Yeah, totally agree. So now let me ask you, if you could start over in a new home anywhere in the world, where would it be? And how would you design it? Because I know your two places are very different. So what's your next one? Let's just say you were going to do another one.
They are. My farm is very traditional. It's in Pennsylvania. It's very horsey. It's very layered. My New York apartment is from the 1930s. And it's very New York with the sunken living room and the wrought iron railing that goes around the living room and the terrace and the old-fashioned zinc windows. So I would probably, just for something different, I would like to do a very modern, maybe like all white and extremely clean looking place, maybe in Miami, maybe in a high rise with a lot of water views. I'll have to manifest that.
Yes.
And I don't know if I could even live that way. Like when you see it's like very sleek and everything's like a white sofa.
Yeah,
I don't
Carson,
know if I like
I don't
things
think
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
see.
you.
We'll see. Okay. I'll see you and I'll raise you.
Okay.
This is what it should be.
Okay.
It should be a very preppy, very colorful place in or around Palm Beach that's sunny and bright and like has a white background, a white envelope, but then a lot of Slim Aaron's photographs and preppy brights and maybe like aqua colored seagrass on the walls and
and
the Golden
bamboo
Girls
and
Blanche, rattan, palm tree wallpaper, like the Golden Girls, but a little brighter and a little more zippy.
Oh,
That's
100%.
right up my alley.
That's you, Carson.
Right up my alley.
That's what's happening next. We're going to manifest it right now. All right. So I listened to every episode that you did on your little mini series on Ballard's podcast, How to Decorate, recently. It was so good with Tom and the
Junk Gypsies
and everybody. So I was cracking up that you were giving Tom hell for how he like takes 5-second naps and is like completely rejuvenated. And I so wish I could do that. And when we met you at Ballard's, you clearly are traveling like all over the place like a crazy person. You've got all these shows and all these places to be. So how are you rejuvenating? I mean, can you take a 5-minute nap like Tom can?
Sadly, once I'm awake, I'm kind of awake and I'm just like, I'll try to like close my eyes in the car if someone's taking me to set or something. But then as I close my eyes, I'm just like, oh, wait, did I leave my iron on? Oh, I've got to order this sample.
Totally.
Wait, where's that list? And I need to like write things down. I'm thinking too much. So
I know.
Instead of taking naps, I just like on a Sunday or a Monday, I will just like stay home and do laundry and veg and or do like my own spa day at home and like hot bath or go swimming or get a little infrared sauna. So when I have days off, I really try to like maximize those so then I can run for like 2 weeks without a break.
Oh my God. Your schedule is crazy. Yeah. Are we going to see you in High Point?
You know, I love going to High Point Market. And for your listeners that don't know what that is a trade show where every manufacturer in America really that produces furniture or lighting or floors or rugs has a showroom and shows off their new wares for the season. I love going. I've always loved going. It is like Christmas for me. And coming from the fashion world, I was just so amazed at the hospitality. Like there's like wine and there's food and everyone's really nice
so
and
good.
welcoming. I was like, this is not Paris Fashion Week, let me tell you. And it was really lovely and you get to catch up with so many people and everyone who goes is, you know, fun and fashionable. And I love it so much. It's twice a year, spring and fall. I don't think I can go spring just because I'm looking at my calendar and there's something like, I think I have to be in LA like on Sunday and also on Tuesday. And it's just like, do I try to get to Greensboro, North Carolina for a day? So I probably won't make it this time.
Well, maybe we'll see you in Round Top because that's we've only been once and that's next on our list. Maybe we're thinking next March.
Okay. So I am doing a curated trip to Round Top in the fall. And Round Top, again, for your listeners, it is the biggest and the best antique festival. I'm going to call it a festival because there's so much going on. There's food, there's fashion, there's music, but there's antiques from all over the world, from junk, fields of junk, like acres and acres, to highly curated places that just sell Hermes scarves or just sell light fixtures from Belgium. So I highly recommend it. But because it is so vast, you really need to know what you're doing, or you could be stuck there for 2 weeks wandering around and just not being efficient. True. So I am going to do this curated tour. So follow my social media. It'll be this fall.
Okay, can we come?
Round
Hello?
Top. Yeah.
Can we come?
And we
message us.
Absolutely you can come. And we'll do the transportation and the lodging.
Oh, yes.
And I will personally take you to all my favorite places because there's thousands of vendors. You really need a guide, at least for the first time that you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so when we were at Ballard's and saw you, we could not help noticing your beautiful left wrist stack. Now, for those that are not watching on video, you won't see this, but for those that are, can you hold up your arm and let us see all your amazing bracelets?
Oh my God. I was like, okay, I see the Cartier Love bracelet. I see the nail. But what is that silver bracelet? It fits you perfectly.
Yeah. I like to, this is something I collect as well. And jewelry. And this big chunky one is this is from Hermes and it's called the Chaîne d'Ancre. I think it's anchor chain.
It's awesome.
And it's just a nice big chunky one. I saw a vintage version of it at Round Top and I wanted it because it was really big and chunky. And it was really, I just didn't pull the trigger. It seemed like too extravagant. So then I asked for this for my birthday and I did get one. So here I am. And then, the Cartier nail is nice too. And, and honestly, again, this is like, buying the best quality. These pieces, like if they're pedigreed, you can sell them at any time and they really hold their value. When I was hearing stories about women buying Hermes Birkin bags as like investments, like my friend Pat Altschul, who we had on the podcast for Ballard, I said, that can't be real, but it actually is. They hold their value and sometimes they go up. So buying good quality, designer accessories that last is the way to go. Like, don't spend the money on the sweater or the pair of pants because those wear out. Spend the money on the sterling silver or the leather, things you're going to have for a long time.
Well, I saw you at the Oscars in your beautiful pink jacket, still wearing your stack. So I thought, that probably stays on his wrist.
It does. And I'm the annoying person at the airport who has to go through the scanner and not the whirly thing because I'm just like, this is gonna take a long time.
Yeah. I don't run around with the screwdriver in my suitcase.
Well, I hate that we have to wrap up. I know you have lots of things to do. So if you want to check out Carson's collection with Ballard Designs, it's called Thrill of the Hunt. And just go to ballardsdesign.com. And for those of you that live in Atlanta, they have a beautiful flagship store off of Huff Avenue in Atlanta. So.
Yeah. They have so many stores. I'm looking right now at my Ballard catalog, which I have handy, and they've been doing a great job of building beautiful stores, mostly in suburban areas. But there's a new store in Austin. There's a great flagship store in Atlanta, Charlotte, Greenville, Jacksonville. There's a new store that I opened in Solana Beach, California last fall. We did a big store opening event. So they probably have a store in your area. And what I like to do as a Ballard shopper, I like to, look at it in the catalog and look at it online. But then I also, if it's a big purchase, I like to go to the store and actually see it because you need to see and feel the quality.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one in Charleston as well, which we are very excited about.
Yes. Is that a new one, Joanne? No. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been there.
Because your stuff is beautiful quality. So it is definitely, I'll just tell people, if you see it in the catalog, just go ahead and buy it because truly the finishes are great. The quality is great. Yeah.
It's true.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So we always end our podcast with a serious quote and kind of a funny quote. So just hang on here for 1 second while we do that. I'll tell the inspirational quote, and I know, Carson, that you can totally relate. So your home should tell your story, layered, personal, and never too perfect.
Amen. All right, here's our funny quote. Ready? Good design is like a great outfit. If you're uncomfortable, it's not working. And that is so true. Yep.
Yep.
So
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Well, Carson, you are so fun to talk to. Literally, I know we've seen you a couple times at High Point. We've seen you at Ballard's, and you are totally genuine. And this is the way you are. And we love that about you. And we hope that everybody gets to know you a little bit better from this show and checks out all your stuff at Ballard's.
Yeah. I have one last question.
Thank you
Because-
so much.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Carson, you are so hilarious. You are so like witty and off the cuff. Have you ever done like improv?
No, I've never done any like improvisational. Like I see these groups like Second City, and there's places in LA where I go past. Like I was there just for the Oscars doing some fashion coverage, and I was walking past the Comedy Store and some of the famous comedy clubs, and I was like, gosh, I really need to try that. It's terrifying, but I kind of
You
already
can
do
do
it. And
it.
everybody I talk
You
to
can
that's a
do it.
comic, it's like, you
You would be so good.
already do it. So
Yes.
I'm gonna put that on my list, my to-do list.
How you
are a
come up
jack
with
of
the
all
funniest
trades.
stuff. It's true. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was so
You're so
awesome. Thank you
sweet.
so
Thank you.
much. And thank you to Russ Reba with Podcast Studio Network for our engineering and production. If you're interested in that, just contact him at his website, podcaststudionetwork.com.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at Kandrac-Kole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrac Kole.